I know why all you guys are tuned in right now. It's what to do with Ben DiNucci. No, it's to know which defenses and kickers to stream this week. Maybe. It's definitely to know what to do with these Packers and Niners who are probably playing Thursday. And I'll do my best to answer that and a lot more in this week's Fantasy Football Waiver Wire video. This is week 9 of Fantasy Football. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. Let's go right into what teams are on bye for this week. By the way, for the best waiver wire videos, best fantasy football live streams and content, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you won't miss anything. There are 4 teams on bye for week 9. Those are the Bengals, Browns, Rams, and Eagles. Plenty of quarterbacks to stream this week and also to stash. Jared Goff specifically, he's on bye this week, but if you have roster space, only 4 teams on bye, you can add him and start him against the Seahawks because the Seahawks pass defense is horrible. Jared Goff should be able to do well, but just keep in mind, again, he is on bye this week. My top option for quarterback is going to be Teddy Bridgewater going up against the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs are going to score points. That means theoretically Bridgewater will need to throw to stay in this game. Really good matchup, and we thought, or at least I thought, he had a little bit of upside, but this year apparently he doesn't really have that upside, that wow factor to get you 30 plus fantasy points. But if he's going to do it this year, it's a really good chance it's going to be this week against the high-powered Chiefs offense. I know he's not playing against the offense, but you get it. Could be a little bit of a shootout. We have Cam Newton going up against the Chiefs. Drew Lock has a good matchup against the Falcons. Then another decent matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 10. Nick Foles and the Bears offense, not too good. Somehow they keep winning or staying really close in games, and they have another good matchup here against the Titans. It's a really good matchup, actually, and man, he might be able to do some things. Like, he's been pretty disappointing, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears somehow won this game. Anyway, the rest is really for deep leagues or stashes. You don't really want to be starting Derek Carr, although Chargers defense has been pretty disappointing. Tua did not look good in his debut, but I have a really good gut feeling about it. I actually liked what I saw from Tua, even though it didn't look good. I think the Rams defense is a very good, and you know, that was his first start, right, against the Rams. Now, a completely different team is going to be against the Cardinals. Now, like I said, after my top, 4 or 5 options, you really don't want to add any of these guys. But if you do want to stash Tua in a deeper league, or maybe you're in a shallow Superflex league, because in a Superflex 12-teamer, he's already taken, like, you're not going to find him or anything. But if he's available and you see that he might have value, this could be a cool stash, and I wouldn't be too scared to start him against the Cardinals. I'd be a little bit scared to start him for sure, but the matchup is great. It should be a fast-paced game. Has the potential for a shootout here. And then we have Matthew Stafford, who I would have ranked in my top 3 or top 4 usually, but without Golladay and with this team being more of a running team, or at least using the running back position a lot, Stafford's upside is completely torn apart. He has no upside this year. He's been dropped in a lot of leagues. And I mean, as you can see, I even said pick Tua up before him just because of the unknown factor and the upside factor. Sure, good chance Tua's going to be way worse than Matthew Stafford this year, put up less fantasy points. There is that risk, but then there is that upside that Tua is the next best thing in the NFL. Could be. Minshew is going to be out, so you could pick up his backup. Thankfully, it's not Mike Glennon. I'm a Mike Glennon hater. I'm just going to say it. He's horrible. If you guys never seen Mike Glennon play, he is absolutely atrocious. And then I guess I can rank Daniel Jones. I just had these guys up here ranked. Nick Mullins, probably going to start for the Niners Thursday Night Football against the Packers. Kirk Cousins going against the Lions. Whoever's starting for Washington football team, which is likely Kyle Allen. Great matchups. Look at this. Giants, Lions, Bengals, and Cowboys. And wow, I mean, this is incredible. I don't know if they plan to start Alex Smith. I don't know what's going on with this team. I don't know, but looks like it's going to be Kyle Allen starting those 4 games. And then, guys, we have a true quarterback competition brewing here in Dallas, Texas, and Ben DiNucci is not going to start this week. The starter for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be Cooper Rush and or Garrett Gilbert. So they're having a quarterback competition to see who's going to be the starter. And who knows, maybe one of these guys gets benched in the middle of the game. Maybe it has, I can't remember in recent history, a bigger projected slaughter than the Cowboys versus the Steelers. Eagles defense last week against DiNucci put up around 20 fantasy points, depending on what kind of league you're in, maybe 22. And I don't see how the Steelers defense won't have at least the upside, to put up 40 fantasy points against the Cowboys. I know it sounds crazy, ridiculous, but yeah, the Steelers defense could really put up 30 or 40. Now, it's very unlikely it doesn't happen, but I'm saying their ceiling is like 40 fantasy points. I mean, I'd be disappointed and kind of surprised if they don't put up at least 16 or 17 fantasy points. So let's just make it simple. Steelers defense will get 15 to 40 fantasy points, something within that range. Week 9, go ahead and start the Steelers defense. Like, that's even a question. Number 1 running back to add is JaMycal Hasty. Now, I'm going to get into the Packers running back situation, probably one of the biggest reasons you're watching this video. But Hasty, we should all be grateful that we can have a guy like this on our squad. McKinnon, I nicknamed him 3-carry McKinnon. Something's not right there. I guess he's tired. He just hasn't been in football shape, and I don't know what's going on. All these injuries piled up. He's just not anywhere near resembling a workhorse. So you can't really rely on him. Sure, you can get, sneak in with a receiving touchdown or something, but JaMycal Hasty looks like the workhorse running back for the Packers. Actually, Vegas has this as a kind of a close game because the Packers run D is atrocious. And Hasty, he is a tough runner on a good team. Well, somewhat good, a team that can run. Niners are so decimated, but I absolutely love him. He's pretty much looking like a must start this week. If you need a running back, definitely a must add in fantasy. So by the way, Tevin Coleman ruled out. Mostert, he's out. And also Jeff Wilson is out. And yes, Jerick McKinnon's nickname is 3-carry McKinnon. I came up with that. Damian Harris going up against the Jets. J.D. McKissick. And now he's going up against the Giants. And so those are the top 3 guys. Mark Ingram, if I had to guess, he's going to be out again this week. I'd put J.K. Dobbins on here, but 8 out of 10 leagues already have him rostered. And so Gus Edwards, matter of fact, Gus Edwards got 17 touches, the same exact amount of touches as Dobbins this past week against the Steelers. And they both looked pretty good. Now, they did run much better than a lot of people thought against the Steelers. And so really any other team you face that's not the Steelers defense is going to be easier. Their defense is so dang good. And so Gus Edwards needs to be owned in a lot more leagues, especially if you're in non-PPR. He doesn't get too many targets in the pass game. Then we have Zach Moss, Matt Breida, or any really random Dolphins running back. Now, we know that Myles Gaskin is actually out 3 weeks. The Dolphins made a couple trades, really the only trades of the day. They traded away Isaiah Ford, that's to the Patriots, and then they they made another trade with the Chiefs, a small one, to get DeAndre Washington, who's going to add more depth to this backfield. And so Matt Breida, as of right now, I believe is the number one running back for the Dolphins. Jordan Howard probably will be active. He's been a healthy scratch a few times this year. LaMichael Pirine is a running back. He's on the Jets, though. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the Packers running back situation. Very messy here, and I'm going to do my best to help you guys out. So let's start off with the facts and what I know, and then I'll take my best shot at what's going to happen. Okay, so A.J. Dillon is definitely out, okay? This is Thursday night. Is the game going to be played Thursday night? It's looking like probably yes. So you can bank on the game being played Thursday. And that might change. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'll be totally wrong. But as of right now, let's just assume it's going to be played Thursday. I'd say it's probably going to happen. Okay, so A.J. Dillon is out. And now we know, because of the tracing, a high probability, whatever, high risk. Also, Jamal Williams is out too. So those two running backs, basically the number 2 running back for the Packers is out. The number 3 running back for the Packers is out. Aaron Jones is questionable with a calf injury. Now, it's looking like the Packers have been cautious. They're pessimistic that Aaron Jones will play Thursday. Aaron Jones himself seems to be ready to go. Now, this is my guess. I think Aaron Jones is going to play. Let's just say 51% chance. Now, if you ask someone else, they're going to say 49% chance he's going to play or less, whatever. You know, I'll give it 51% chance Aaron Jones is going to play. And that's why I don't have any Packers running backs ranked high on this list. So the only 2 fully healthy running backs is Tyler Irving and Dexter Williams. Well, actually, Tyler Irving isn't even, might not even be fully healthy. Okay, so this is a complete mess. And that's why, you would just be taking a stab in the dark here. And so that's another reason why I think Aaron Jones is going to play. There's some motivation there. We know the Packers are very angry at the Niners. They've embarrassed them twice last year, and this game right here is a very important game. A game for the Packers to bounce back and get that revenge win over the Niners, and it's a doable game with the Niners so banged up. Packers are favorited to win. So Tyler Irvin, he's been on special teams. He hasn't really done much, but he's got some snaps at the running back position this year. Dexter Williams hasn't played. He's on the practice squad. He's going to get called up, and he just hasn't been that good. And so, this is how this is how I'll put it. Tyler Irving is like J.K. Dobbins. Dexter Williams is like Gus Edwards, but they're both very poor versions of those two guys. And then we got Aaron Jones. I guess he's like Mark Ingram in his prime. So I don't know what's going to happen. I would suggest avoiding this situation between these two. If you got Aaron Jones and he's active, play him, of course. But other than that, I'm not putting in high priority for these Packers running backs just because I don't know what's going on. It's a messy situation. I'm not going to waste a claim. I'm not going to waste much FAB, except if you're in a desperate situation. So if you're in a desperate situation, feel free to add one of these guys. And now we have Nyheim Hines in full PPR. Just in case all 4 other running backs on the Seahawks are out again, we got DJ Dallas, who's actually earned a little bit more playing time. Very impressive performance week 8 against the Niners. Jordan Wilkins we got. By the way, Jonathan Taylor has a mild injury that they found out after the game. So I don't know how much that's going to factor in. The Colts are facing the Ravens, by the way, and that backfield's a complete mess. So not a great matchup, even though a lot of Ravens defensive players could be out. Still not a great matchup. And then on top of that, we have uncertainty with 3 running backs back there. We got Wayne Gallman if Devontae Freeman misses even more time, Brian Hill, Eno Benjamin, who's currently the backup running back for the Cardinals, Kenyon Drake is out, and then we have Dante Foreman in deep leagues if you need a handcuff for Derrick Henry, and fullback Kyle Juszczyk of the 49ers. They got to do something there. They're running out of options. They're using the fullback now. Lots of wide receivers to add. And these, I'd say these top 5 are worth, maybe even 6 are definitely worth adding. Jalen Reagor should be added in pretty much every league. He looked amazing, and he's hardly even played this year. So he could be even better. Wow, it's a must add. Last week, I added Michael Williams in the IG Experts League. Can't believe he was a free agent. And just because he's up and down, he's not consistent, doesn't mean he's not good. He's very good and has a very good quarterback throwing him the ball. Another wide receiver that should be owned in just about every league. And now we got Cole Beasley or John Brown. Hey, whoever wide receiver you got, you're facing the Seahawks, feel free to start them if you want. And then after that, they're facing the Cardinals, another defense that's not that great, and also another high-powered, it could be a shootout. So we got 2 shootouts, Week 9 and Week 10 for the Bills. Great matchups, great game scripts. Love any Bills receivers going against those 2 teams. And then we got Corey Davis, who he's like, hey, I'm the number 1 wide receiver on the Titans. He's got 10 targets Week 8 and 10 targets Week 9. Very impressive for Corey Davis. Alan Lazard, small chance he comes back Thursday. I'd guess he won't, but he is designated to return, so he might be back this week, might be back really soon here. Regardless, should be stashed. And then we have Curtis Samuel, who's been doing much better as of late. And another good matchup we talked about, the Panthers will have to throw the ball here. And then we got Anthony Miller, who's actually getting more playing time, and I think he's always looked pretty good. He had a few key drops, mostly with Trubisky. That's changed, but he's getting a lot more playing time. It's something to at least note. Like Anthony Miller, could he be the guy we thought he was? And could he kind of overtake that number 2 wide receiver spot for the Bears? And then we got Russell Gage with Calvin Ridley's injury. I'm assuming Ridley won't play this week. Preston Williams, good matchup against the Cardinals. Keep tabs on Sammy Watkins' injury. And Alshon Jeffrey could be worth an add. I don't know if he's going to play. He's also the type of guy who, when he does play, he might get re-injured again. Kendrick Bourne, maybe not a bad matchup. It probably is a bad matchup. Deshaun Hamilton, Marvin Hall with Kenny Golladay out. He's already been ruled out. Jacoby Myers / Damiere Byrd for the Patriots. And then we got Trent Taylor because Deebo Samuel and just about all the other receivers for the Niners are out. By the way, they just cut Dante Pettis. For tight ends, Logan Thomas this week against the Giants. Very nice. Trey Burton's getting a lot of usage on the Colts. And then for the Niners, my guess is that Jordan Reed will not play Week 9. Now, I don't know that. I'd say, 55% chance he will not play Week 9, but he's going to return soon. Also, Jordan Reed's another guy that when he does return, you're kind of holding your breath because he can get re-injured that very same game he comes back. But for this week, Ross Dwelley could be considered a low-end tight end 1 if Jordan Reed doesn't play. Ross Dwelley has done it before when Kittle was out. By the way, Kittle, he's out 8 weeks. You can go ahead and drop him in every redraft league. And then we got Eric Ebron and Irv Smith. So at least there's some tight ends that we can pick up. And a guy like Logan Thomas has been doing okay. Just had his bye week, so he's not rostered in a lot of leagues. For defenses, it's really the Patriots D right here. You got to go get them. After these top 2 or 3 options, it gets a little bit wishy-washy. I'd be comfortable starting Washington defense or Giants defense. They do face each other. Both teams have been known to either be sloppy or just not have a high-powered offense. So the Giants offense is sloppy and they make mistakes. Washington's offense is just not high-powered. And so those are good options. After that, I mean, I'll just leave this up here. I don't want to go through too many options, but I will go through a couple I want to talk about. Gardner Minshew is out, and that's why the Texans are on here. Eagles defense is on bye, but another good stash as they face the Giants and then the Browns. One more I wanted to talk about is the Dolphins defense. Now, they've been pretty good this year. They're on bye this week. And then they have some good matchups. Really, I'm telling you, get the Dolphins D. If somehow, some way you can stash them for week 12 as they face the Jets, hey, that's pretty good. The other 2 matchups they got week 11 and 13 aren't too bad either against the Broncos and Bengals. For kickers, my top 3 are elite. So that's tier 1 right there. Chris Boswell, nearly perfect this year on kicks and extra points. Going up against the Cowboys should be basically an extra point or a field goal every time the Steelers have the ball. They're just, I mean, it really should be. And if not, the Steelers defense will give them enough opportunities to get you a lot more extra points and field goals. And the team will definitely settle for field goals and not risk it at the end of the game when they have a huge lead. And then we got Nick Folk going against the Jets. And Younghoe Koo actually has the most upside out of these 3 kickers. And so if you're looking for a lot of points, Younghoe Koo is very good. And then my second cutoff is going to be around the 6 or 7 mark. Maybe actually the 7 to 8, right around there. And so you got Jason Sanders, who's actually the only kicker who hasn't missed an extra point nor a field goal, 100%. So accurate, so dependable, good matchup. I just don't know what's going to happen in this Dolphins-Cardinals game. With Tua, with the Dolphins defense, playing very good most games, but still, like, I don't really consider them trustworthy and consistent. Like, not as much as some. Like, they're good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know what's going to happen this game is all. And that's why I have Jason Sanders ranked number 4. Michael Badgley, a little bit less trust with this kicker, but a great matchup against the Raiders. And Daniel Carlson in that same game. He's been really good this year. Brandon McManus going up against the Falcons. Very dependable, great matchup. And then at number 8, this is kind of my cutoff here. Like, Zane Gonzalez is pretty good, and the matchup seems okay. I just don't know what's going to happen in this game. Maybe no field goals are attempted. Maybe it's 2-point conversions. I don't know who's going to have the lead. I don't know if there's going to be mistakes made by Tua, mistakes made by Kyler. So it's just tough to really put my finger on it. And after that, it's really for deeper leagues. Like, you got a guy like Robbie Gould, who I really trust and should get a lot of opportunities. But it's Thursday night. Everyone's hurt. It's just a crazy game. But as far as accuracy, I do like him. And then, yeah, also on top of that, Niners quarterback situation. Like, my God. And so I have him at number 9. Still like him, but just not as certain as the guys ahead of him. And then in super deeper leagues, we have Kaimi Fairbairn of the Texans, Jason Myers of the Seahawks, Suck Up, Dan Bailey, Matt Prater, Tyler Bass, Stephen Gostkowski, Rodrigo Blankenship in a bad matchup, Cairo Santos, and Mason Crosby. Just wanted to give you guys, this is basically my kicker rankings. Definitely one, if you need a kicker, there's one on here that's available as a free agent. Remember, don't waste a waiver claim on a kicker and don't spend any FAB on him. It's okay to spend $0 FAB. Other than that, just add him as a free agent. Weather shouldn't be as big of a factor as it was last week. Still take note if there's any strong winds above 15 or 20 miles an hour. So far, coast is clear though. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Lots of good, valuable information on there as well. And we might have a little giveaway on that second channel. Smash the thumbs up, guys, or thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. Good luck this week. Let's go get that W.